Imagine turning down a role and watching it become one of the biggest movies in history. These aren't unknown actors, they're Hollywood legends. Leonardo DiCaprio, Will Smith, Nicole Kidman, Harrison Ford, and more. These are 10 Hollywood stars who said no to roles that went on to define careers, win Oscars, and change cinema forever. Some walked away because of bad timing, some declined because of personal reasons, and some, I guess you will find out. Save your judgment for the last story, that's where the real bombshell is hidden. Leonardo DiCaprio was already a global superstar. After the massive success of Titanic in 1997, he was Hollywood's golden boy. His name alone could draw audiences to theaters worldwide. DiCaprio turned down the role of Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars Episode II due to scheduling conflicts and his desire to focus on projects he felt were more creatively fulfilling, such as Catch Me If You Can and Gangs of New York. Professionally, he was selective about roles that aligned with his artistic vision. Attack of the Clones grossed over $649 million worldwide and solidified the prequel trilogy as a defining chapter of the Star Wars saga. The role of Anakin went to Hayden Christensen, which launched Christensen into global recognition and made him a key figure in pop culture for years. Saying no didn't harm DiCaprio's career. He went on to star in multiple Oscar-worthy films and eventually won his first Academy Award for The Revenant. However, this remains a fascinating what-if moment for fans imagining Leonardo as the iconic Anakin Skywalker. DiCaprio has joked in interviews about how some of the roles he passed on became legendary, emphasizing the unpredictable nature of fame in Hollywood. Before becoming one of Hollywood's most respected actresses, Emily Blunt was a fast-rising star in the late 2000s. After her breakout performance in The Devil Wears Prada and critical acclaim in films like The Young Victoria, she turned down the role of Natasha Romanoff, also known as Black Widow, in Iron Man 2. Emily Blunt didn't say no by choice alone. She was contractually obligated to star in Gulliver's Travels and was legally unable to accept the Marvel role. It was a professional and unforeseen conflict, not a lack of interest. Iron Man 2 became a global box office success and solidified the MCU as a cultural force. The role of Black Widow went to Scarlett Johansson. That single casting decision turned Scarlett Johansson into one of the most recognizable action stars in the world, leading to over a decade of Marvel films and a standalone Black Widow movie. Surprisingly, turning down Black Widow didn't hurt Emily Blunt's career. Instead, she built a different legacy, earning acclaim for Edge of Tomorrow, Sicario, A Quiet Place, and an Academy Award nomination. By the early 90s, Harrison Ford was already one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. He was the face of legendary franchises like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, known worldwide as a box office guarantee. At this point in his career, Ford had fame, power, and the freedom to choose his roles carefully. He turned down the role of Oskar Schindler in the film Schindler's List in 1993 for a professional and artistic reason. He believed his global star status would distract audiences from the story. Ford felt viewers would see Harrison Ford, the movie star, instead of Oskar Schindler, the man, and he didn't want his fame to overshadow the film's message. Schindler's List became one of the most critically acclaimed films of all time, winning 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. The role went to Liam Neeson, and it changed his career forever. Neeson earned an Oscar nomination and became an internationally respected dramatic actor almost overnight. Turning down the role didn't damage Harrison Ford's career. He remained a Hollywood icon. However, this decision is often cited as one of the greatest what-if moments in film history. It wasn't about money or fear. It was about restraint. Nicole Kidman was already an A-list Hollywood icon. She was an Academy Award winner, known for powerful, dramatic performances in films like Moulin Rouge and The Hours. At this point in her career, Kidman had the freedom to choose roles carefully, often prioritizing prestige over popularity. Nicole Kidman turned down the role of Miranda Priestley in The Devil Wears Prada 2006 due to professional and scheduling conflicts, as she was already committed to other projects. She ultimately chose to pass, not fully realizing how iconic the character would become. The Devil Wears Prada became a massive box office success, grossing over $326 million worldwide and received widespread critical acclaim. The role of Miranda Priestley went to Meryl Streep, earning her an Academy Award nomination and creating one of the most unforgettable characters in film history. The performance became instantly iconic and is still quoted today. Turning down the role didn't damage Nicole Kidman's career. She continued to star in acclaimed films and prestige television. Gwyneth Paltrow was one of Hollywood's most promising young actresses. She had already gained attention for her elegance, intelligence, and strong dramatic performances. At this point, she was respected, rising fast, and carefully shaping what kind of actress she wanted to become. She declined the role of Rose DeWitt Bucatore in Titanic 1997. She turned down the role for professional and personal reasons. She felt uncertain about the project and chose to pursue other opportunities that aligned more closely with her instincts at the time. Titanic went on to become a historic phenomenon, grossing over $2 billion worldwide and winning 11 Academy Awards. The role of Rose went to Kate Winslet, launching her into global superstardom and cementing her as one of the greatest actresses of her generation. Gwyneth has later acknowledged that turning down Titanic is one of the most talked about decisions of her career, proof that even the biggest stars can't predict which films will change history. By the early 90s, John Travolta was at a crossroads. Once one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, thanks to Saturday Night Fever and Grease, his career had cooled. He was no longer the box office guarantee he once was, and many believed his best years were behind him. John Travolta turned down the role of Forrest Gump in the Forrest Gump movie for professional reasons. He was uncertain about the script and how audiences would connect with the character. Instead, he chose to pursue other projects he felt were safer for his career at that moment. Forrest Gump became a cultural phenomenon, grossing over $678 million worldwide and winning 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. The role went to Tom Hanks, earning him an Oscar for Best Actor and cementing his status as one of the greatest actors of all time. Ironically, saying no didn't end Travolta's career, it delayed his comeback. Just 1 year later, he starred in Pulp Fiction, a role that revived his career overnight and turned him into a Hollywood legend all over again. By the early 2000s, Sean Connery was already a legendary actor, best known as the original James Bond, and for roles in films like The Untouchables and Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. His commanding presence and iconic voice made him one of the most respected actors in Hollywood. The role in question was Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He turned down the role because he did not understand the script and was unsure about committing to such a massive, lengthy project. It was a personal and professional decision, reflecting his careful consideration of how he spent his time in later career years. The Lord of the Rings trilogy became one of the greatest and most successful film series of all time, winning 17 Academy Awards across 3 films and grossing over $2.9 billion worldwide. The role went to Sir Ian McKellen, who delivered an iconic performance, earning worldwide acclaim and cementing his status as one of the greatest actors of his generation. Turning down Gandalf didn't harm Connery's career. He remained a respected figure and continued acting selectively. However, fans often speculate how magical and legendary his Gandalf might have been, given his commanding presence and charisma. By the early 2000s, Matt Damon was already a household name thanks to Good Will Hunting and the talented Mr. Ripley. He had proven himself a versatile actor, capable of handling both intense drama and action, making him one of Hollywood's most sought-after stars. Matt Damon declined the role of Jake Sully in Avatar 2009 due to scheduling conflicts and a preference for other projects. Professionally, he chose to prioritize commitments he felt aligned better with his career path at the time. The role went to Sam Worthington, whose career skyrocketed internationally, establishing him as a leading man in Hollywood and a franchise star. Avatar became the highest-grossing film of all time until Avengers Endgame temporarily surpassed it, earning over $2.8 billion worldwide. The film also became a visual effects milestone and launched the careers of several actors to new heights. Saying no didn't harm Damon's career. He continued to star in major films like the Bourne Identity series and The Martian, earning critical acclaim and box office success. However, missing out on Avatar remains one of the most notable what-if moments in his career. By the late 70s, Tom Selleck was a rising star, celebrated for his charisma, rugged charm, and role as Magnum P.I. on television. He was on the cusp of Hollywood superstardom, known for both his acting skills and leading man presence. Tom Selleck passed on the role of Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He had already committed to his television series Magnum P.I. and was legally unable to accept the role. Professionally, it was a scheduling conflict, not a lack of interest. The role went to Harrison Ford, whose career skyrocketed, turning Indiana Jones into one of the most iconic characters in film history. Raiders of the Lost Ark became a blockbuster hit, earning over $390 million worldwide, launching one of the most successful adventure franchises in cinema history, and cementing Harrison Ford as an international star. Turning down the role didn't harm Selleck's career. He remained a beloved television and film star. Still, it's considered one of Hollywood's most famous what-if moments. By the late 90s, Will Smith was already a global superstar thanks to The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and blockbuster films like Independence Day and Men in Black. He was one of Hollywood's most bankable actors, known for his charisma, humor, and action chops. He turned down the role of Neo in The Matrix in 1999. He declined because he felt the concept was too weird and too futuristic for him. Professionally, he later admitted he preferred to pursue roles he felt were more conventional or aligned with his style at the time. The role went to Keanu Reeves, which skyrocketed his career and cemented Neo as a sci-fi legend, forever associated with mind-bending action and philosophical storytelling. The Matrix became a global phenomenon, grossing over $460 million worldwide, receiving critical acclaim and revolutionizing visual effects in cinema. Saying no didn't harm Will Smith's career. He continued to star in major hits like Ali, I Am Legend, and Hancock. Can you imagine Will Smith dodging bullets as Neo? How different would The Matrix look today?